He doesn't have a place to go to when he gets up in the morning.
It's been a long, long time since I've memorized your face. It's been 4 hours now.
He doesn't have a job that defines him as jobs define people and what they do. He doesn't have that.
And when you bring the blankets I cover up my face, I do love you, I do.
Ben falls in the low functioning end of the disability spectrum because he needs so much help and he's nonverbal. I think because of that, it's limited his opportunities to connect with people and limited his opportunities to be a part of community. Sometimes when you're sitting with a doctor trying to do the diagnosis, being able to speak on Ben's behalf is really challenging.
Your fingers, and when you crochet, I feel mesmerized and proud. And I'll say I love you, but saying it out loud is hard, so I won't say it at all.
I like to get up in the morning and I like to have my devotional time in the morning. And I like to allow for that time to start the day, and then things tend to roll very quickly from there. If Ben has had what we call a good night, that means that he hasn't had any seizures, that he's gone to bed at a good time, and those days are few. When Ben has had a bad night, and the majority of Ben's seizures occur while he is sleeping, and he can have anywhere from 1 to 3 seizures in a night, and a seizure really takes a lot out. When Ben was born, there was no indication at birth that anything was going to be unusual or different for Ben. He was a beautiful baby. We brought him home and we began life as a little family with our firstborn child. You began to see that things were going to be different. I'm going to help you with that. I want you to take a look, Ben. Take a look at what you're picking here. There was a whole gradual coming into the realization of what the changes in our life were going to be because we had a son with a disability. That was kind of happening at the same time as I'm trying to figure out why me? Why did Ben come to be in our family? And it becomes a very personal thing that you go through to try to make sense of this. And you go through a whole grieving process because you grieve the loss of all the things, you know, that children learn to kick balls and say their mother's name and play on a ball team, or all of those things that are kind of milestones. You grieve the loss of that because it's never going to be what you had hoped. Now that happened 20 years ago, and so you have the memory of it, but you still have things that come up that bring you right back to that loss. I believe that things don't happen by accident. I believe that God is good and that God has a purpose for every person. There's a purpose for me, and He has a purpose for Ben. It's important that people see that Ben has a purpose, and he's just not a person who may play by himself in his room and sit and play with beads for endless hours. There's so much more depth to Ben than sometimes you see at a first glance when you see Ben, and you right away recognize that this person has a very profound disability. There is something that we started doing for our boys when they were very young. We would make lists of things that they were good at, that they liked doing, that they enjoyed, that made them happy. And it was a fun exercise to do that list because you were really looking at the positive aspects of this person. And after making that list, we looked at it and said, what's next? I was one day looking through a catalog as Ben had graduated high school, keeping that list of things that Ben liked rolling in my mind. I'm looking at the list of courses and lists of things that young people might take as a class. And I saw this advertisement for a photography class, and it just clicked. The camera has a button. And I know Ben will push a button, but would he push the button on a camera? And we called the number, talked to the person who was instructing the class, asked if this was something that they would be open to, and we found a window.
Would you really rush out? Would you really rush out? Would you really rush out? Falling out. Would you really rush out? Would you really rush out? Falling out. Would you really rush out? Falling out. Would you really rush out? Falling out. Would you really rush out? Falling
People have said to me that they admire what we do for Ben and the vision and the care. Some people sometimes say to me, I couldn't do what you do. And I didn't think I could do it either. But it is what it is. I think that some people look at me and I think they are glad it is me and not them when they say, I don't think I could do it. And they don't know if they could do it or not because they've never had that on their plate. but they've had other things that they've had to deal with. And that's part of life. And most of the time when we are under pressure and under stress and things aren't going the way we had in our mind, we try to wiggle and squirm out from under it. There are lots of reasons you can sort of step out and take a look at. Is there something that I can learn from this? Is there something somebody else can learn from it as well?
I wear my garment so it shows.
And when I look at Ben's purpose, I see that he is very loving. He has a chance to show and teach other people about love, about caring, about being understanding.
Bluey feathers on the floor. Sky is warm, she's the moon.
As a Christian, all we have is the promise that God will see us through a trial, that He will be with us